Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Authentically Albertan. We are here in Red Deer in the Paradise Plaza, and this time I am joined by King Bull. How are you guys? Feel free to introduce yourselves.
We're King Bull.
Right on. I'm Ben. I play drums.
I'm Tucker. I'm guitar and vocals.
Yeah, and I'm Aiden on the bass.
How have you guys been? How has 2025 been so far? Busy?
It's getting there. So far, a little bit of a slow start, but lots of wheels in motion for big things happening. Studio time in the upcoming week. So yeah, we've got a compilation record coming out to remind our fans who we are and what we do. And then recording our first full-length album. So it's an exciting year.
Wow. Yeah. And how long have you guys been together as a band?
Open-ended question.
This
The long
current
answer, the
version,
short
or-
answer, yeah.
Well, we've got a lot of time, so we can do the long history.
The long answer starts with me and a buddy of mine, Travis, in the second grade, deciding that we would
Wow,
put
that's
together...
really far.
Yeah.
That's really far back.
Origin stories.
Yeah. Yeah, so basically he was a big AC/DC guy. I was Rolling Stones. So we figured we should do something. Got guitars, started learning riffs and whatnot. Aiden came along in the fourth grade.
Yeah.
He had a Motley Crue shirt on. Me and Travis weren't too familiar with that, but we knew they were a rock and roll band, so it seemed fitting to invite him over. He had a bass kicking around in his basement, his uncle's bass or something like that. So the next few years, we kind of started rehearsing in our basements and stuff like that, whoever's parents would tolerate us.
Yeah.
And eventually found a drummer. The first drummer we had was kind of set up on a play date. His mom and my mom worked at the same school.
Wow.
So that was grade 8. He stuck with us for a while, and then, with his untimely and unfortunate passing, we had to get Ben in the group.
That's right. Thankful for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was just last January 2024, Ben
Just
joined.
over a year, man. Yeah, it goes quick.
So obviously we don't call that the same band from the beginning to now. Like we probably went through 10 different names, lineups changed throughout lots. So this version of the band probably got serious around 2018 and went till about mid 2023. Then with us not having a drummer, we kind of spent a year quiet, not sure what we were going to do, and we got asked to play a show. I didn't feel like saying no, so I asked Ben if he would step behind the kit. And within 15 minutes, he said yeah, and it was just a natural fit.
And was that your first time playing with them, or had you played before?
Yeah, well, actually, we met at the VAT for the very first time. I was in a band a couple years ago opening for King Bull. And somewhere along the way in the middle of the night, I ended up getting Tucker's number. And I think I texted you maybe once, kind of since actually meeting you. And yeah, and then I think it would have been, I guess just a year ago now. Out of nowhere, he goes, "Hey, it's Tucker. Not sure if you still have my number. We got a gig coming up in a few weeks. Do you still play drums? Do you want to come drum with us?" I said, "Absolutely." I had nothing. Was not in the same band that I'd met the boys in, so I was open and ready to rock, and it fit pretty quick once we got rolling. It's been a blast ever since.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds
Red Deer's a
great.
good small world for that, though, right?
Yeah, exactly. You meet people in every corner, and every
For
person's like, "Wow, you're into this type of music too? I'm into that type of music too. Let's form a band."
Exactly.
That's kind of like the backstory I've been hearing.
of.
So this iteration of the band has begun 2018, some additions, and it's great that, okay, you were able to open for them, and now you're playing in the band. What a transition.
Yeah, it's been a full circle. Like I remember very little actually of first meeting these guys and hearing them. But what I did know is they've been rocking for a long time. They're definitely big dogs in as far as the Red Deer scene and just the Alberta scene. I definitely heard of them, heard lots of great things about how hard King Bull rocks. So it was great seeing them. I don't remember talking with Aiden very much, but I do remember Tuck.
Well, the
And we
bassists
just-
are always the most
Yeah,
quiet
exactly,
ones.
yeah. Yeah, I remember we just yelled over the music for whatever 10 minutes. And
Yeah,
that
classic
was-
that
yeah.
conversation where your stinky beer breath is
Yeah,
right up in your ear.
exactly.
You say a million things and you understand maybe 2 words.
Yeah, exactly. But so I was honored when I got the text from Tuck, however long ago that was, a couple of years later. Like, "Hey, you still drum? Remember you from that one time at that one gig
Yeah.
forever ago?" And yeah, it happened to work out really, really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saved the number. I like the style you had behind the kit. So I saved the number thinking you never know when you're going to need a rainy day drummer. So,
Yeah.
and I didn't like the question when somebody asked me, you know, to play a show. The question wasn't, hey, do you guys want to play a show? It was, does King Bull still play shows? And that question just offended me. And I was like, yeah, of course we still play shows. So
Gotta
I
get
did
back
what I had
into
to
it.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta prove them wrong.
Yeah, apparently it was stagnant far too long to be getting a question like that.
Yeah, because it was, what, 8-9 months hiatus at that point?
Yeah, probably 9 months sounds about right. 8-9 months, something like
Not
that.
even, no, see, that's how fast things move here in Red Deer. Not even a year, and they're like, wow, these guys are gone.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
easy to fall off the map.
It was funny. Yeah, even just like that first show that I played with you guys at Bose was what 3 or 4 weeks after you sending the text.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, I got 4 weeks to learn every single song ever, an hour's worth of fast-paced rock and roll tunes, and
Good thing they're all only 2 minutes long.
exactly, yeah, they're pretty quick and dirty most of the tracks. So
Yeah.
I figured it out pretty quick.
So what got you started on this journey, on this musical journey? How'd you guys start? Which instrument did you start with?
I've always just been guitar. Like for me, it was a matter of wanting to be a guitar player because I thought like bands like the Rolling Stones were cool, and I kind of always pictured myself being a vocalist, but I was a bloody awful singer until probably a year ago. So work in progress, I guess.
Yeah.
What improved?
I stopped caring.
Whiskey?
Yeah, whiskey maybe. I don't know. I eventually just got comfortable with my own voice. That's one of those things that if you want to be a singer, you should start when you're 12 and let yourself sound like garbage until you're, you know, older, and your voice obviously changes, especially as you get a little bit older. And eventually you just, like I say, stop caring is kind of my lazy way of saying I got a little bit more confident with what I was doing once I developed my own style. But yeah, the first few years, they're rough. You can find our first EP that we ever put out on the internet. I'm not going to tell you how, but if
It's
you
somewhere.
do, it's
You can
somewhere.
dig it up.
Is it like Bandcamp?
It's like, what, 12,
It's-
13-year-old us? Really early, rough stuff.
Yeah, yeah, it's all out there. I think one of them's even on Spotify, and that was when we first went on the road trying to tour and stuff like that. We hooked up with one of our friends in a small studio, and he recorded it. That you can find. Don't
Find it.
Don't
You
find it.
can find it,
Yeah.
just you shouldn't.
just don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know about Ben. You're really kind of a multi-instrumentalist. He's probably the best musician in the band secretly.
Oh, bar
That's
none.
What about
debatable.
vocals? Maybe he's got the vocals too.
I'm really good in the shower. You just have to believe me on that one. But, I'm in the car. I don't know. I started playing music young. My grandpa was always really into music, and by result, my mom as well. So I started playing piano at age 6 or 7. So I started doing piano lessons. I always wanted to play drums. That was always the goal. It was the meanest, loudest, coolest instrument in my mind. But my mom said, no, you got to learn the music first, learn the chords, and learn the notes. So I said, all right, fine, we'll do piano first. Then did that for a couple of years, and then started picking up a guitar. Remember walking into 53rd Street Music at the time, picking up a guitar, holding it left-handed, and stuck with it, and enjoyed that ever since. And then finally, it would have been about 14 or 15, got my first drum kit for Christmas, I believe. And it was the, again, meanest, loudest, coolest instrument, and I haven't been able to stop ever since. It's fun though, and they're all connected.
And how
I'm
was-
thankful for that piano experience at the beginning now.
How was learning drum like? You know, was there a specific spot in the house where they put you down a specific corner where like, okay,
Oh,
here's
yeah,
where you
dark
play
corner,
drum.
Yeah.
Don't bother us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It was, well, it's kind of just like what you guys were saying, right? You're right, 14, 15 years old, you have friends over, and you're hacking away. Like, I remember Beverly Hills by Weezer was one of the first
Oh,
ones.
yeah.
Of course, everybody can play that one. It's got 4 chords to it. And,
Yeah.
so it
And
was
the
easy to
guitar
play.
solo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. And that one's optional, depending on the skill level. But, yeah, so just got set up in the basement. I was really lucky. The hockey gear I had in the basement kind of got tucked away into the furnace room and got replaced with band posters and lights and the works, and kind of transitioned for a long time. And thankfully, my parents are very patient and tolerant with the
With the noise.
and neighbors that were
Yeah.
tolerant with the noise as well, as they need to be, I guess, at times.
And what about you, Aiden?
Similar sort of story. Grew up, a lot of my family's pretty musical. My dad always played guitar growing up, and my uncle's pretty musical as well. So once I kind of picked up on, oh, that thing looks cool. Oh, yeah, try it out. Here, try this, try that. I had a drum kit when I was a kid, guitars all the time, bass guitars. Just kind of threw everything at me and kind of seeing what would stick. And then met up with Tucker and Travis, and like, oh, bass. That makes sense. You need a bass guitar. Kind of stuck with that more than the rest of them, I would say, at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's pretty well it.
Yeah, his house was always the fun house to go over to when we were kids, because there was a lot of gear kicking around it all the time, and
Yeah.
Sweet.
nobody ever really seemed to care about volume there.
Yeah.
No, my parents are really good that way.
Big
you
into
wanna have
music,
friends
yeah,
with-
they understood.
We had on the weekends we'd take everything out of the living room. We'd set up the drum kit, and the guys could bring their amps over, and we'd have like little rock and roll shows in the basement all the time. And oh, you want to be loud till 1 or until the cops come over, or the neighbors start throwing rocks at the windows, go for it.
And eventually there was an evolution from that into probably what? Playing in the high school, the talent shows, eventually hitting the vat. Yeah.
We started like playing. I remember doing like the lunch area in like the 7th or 8th grade or something like that.
And by then, what were you guys called?
Copyright, I
I
think.
think that was copyright.
Yeah, copyright, which
We
was
are copyright.
incredibly lame. Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah, everybody in the school was always kind of like snickering and like, they're trying to have a band, but he still sounds like a 12-year-old, obviously. Joke's on them. I
Like,
mean,
go
look
back
at
to
us
Xbox
now.
Live.
Yeah, now we're local musicians. So from there, we started playing a place called Slumland a lot. It was an all-ages venue in Red Deer. And that's what I would credit us probably getting decent to the most, because they would allow us to come play once a month or even more frequently than that. And being all ages, but still being licensed, gave us some like real world exposure. Like, it was nice to be able to play to people that were genuinely interested in music rather than just playing to a bunch of middle school kids that probably listen to Taylor Swift.
And
Was
we're kinda
there-
forced to be there, right? Like, you play at lunchtime when everyone's trying to eat their lunch, and they're like,
Yeah.
"We don't want this."
Yeah.
Was there ever any feedback that you got from that time period that you really applied to where the band is now?
I would
Maybe some drunken heckler that got in.
Not so much on the heckler type end, but like verbal feedback, not so much, but just seeing an audience respond to us was kind of like what
Gotcha.
got me thinking,
Okay.
yeah, we could do this. We don't actually suck. The first time you've got 30, 40 people in front of you and you launch into a song that you wrote and you start seeing them move around and getting excited about it, then you're like, yeah, all right, we could do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just from there, just fine tuning and honing over the last decade and a half. And
That's crazy, and seeing where all that improvement has gone and like adapting. And again, that's a great way of saying it, look for the audience reaction and see what works, what doesn't. How you can improve the next night you have a performance.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Or, oh, this song works really well. Like, people seem to be very interested in it. And this one kind of bombed. Let's maybe not write songs like that.
Yeah, you always know when you get on stage and play something that didn't really work. Like, it's one of those things. If the room's full and they didn't respond, you were boring.
Yeah.
So one thing I've enjoyed with drumming with these guys is the flexibility. We're pretty flexible whenever there's like you said, a track that didn't, or a song that didn't quite maybe hit, and maybe it's just in the wrong spot in the set, or maybe the wrong audience or venue, right? Some kind of vibes fit a little better than others, but it's been fun experimenting with set lists and length of sets and songs, which ones go where. It's fun kind of putting those pieces of the puzzle together. And
Well,
see
playing
what
for
works.
1 hour, is rough. Like,
Well, that's we can't. Like, we don't.
We gas out.
Yeah,
well, that was at the VAT, because I saw you guys at the VAT. That was a
Yeah.
1 hour performance.
Was that about an hour?
That was about an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause-
And we played, I think, 2 more songs than we were supposed to.
Lost track of time.
people were shouting encore. People wanted it. You guys
Yeah.
had to deliver.
Yeah, we had to deliver.
People what they want.
Yeah. That was a good one. That was like an actual authentic encore. It's one thing to say, okay, everybody, this is our last song, and then say, do you want one more? And it's another one that catch you off guard saying, we want one more, and you go, we didn't really plan for that.
We didn't actually
Yeah.
have a song ready for it. either.
No, we didn't.
I think it was the last one, like that cover of Mamma Mia that you guys did. I was just telling the previous guest, because she was telling me how sometimes she likes to fiddle with music,
Yeah.
change up the tune or the genre or whatever. And I told her, 2 nights ago, I went to the VAT to see these guys, and they had this hard rock version of Mamma Mia, which I absolutely loved. It was great hearing it.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, really brought up the energy. But again, it was building on all of your stuff before,
Yeah.
all the stuff you've made.
Yeah, you know, I don't like when bands do note for note covers. Like, we could get up there and play a Ramones song exactly as they recorded it. You know, they've got one guitar, a bass, and a vocal, and we could play it note for note. And sure, it would sound good and look good or whatever, but
But at that point, just go watch the Ramones.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fun to make or take somebody else's work and kind of twist it and put your own spin on it. And I think people enjoy that as well, like audiences.
Well, we weren't expecting it at all.
Yeah. Exactly. And then
Whatsoever.
It being so
Yeah.
hard rocking, so to speak. People are like, oh, wow, like, I know this song, or do I know this? And then you get to the chorus and like, oh, that is cool.
Yeah,
And
like
that's fun as the musician to be able to pull that off.
yeah, if you're gonna do a cover and you want to be an original band, like you can be a wedding band or a bar band that does covers, and then you can do the note for note thing, and there's no shame in that. But if you're gonna be an original band, like I always tell people, we're a performance band, not an entertainment band.
Yeah.
Like you watch us for the performance element of what we do. Like this thing, we don't go out there and do covers. We don't play 3-hour entertainment slots. So if we're gonna do a cover, it has to still sound like a King Bull song. Sure, when we get to the chorus, you're gonna know the words. You can sing along with us because it's on the radio 5 times a day. But it should still sound like King Bull.
Yeah.
What's the most out there venue you've played at?
Venue?
Yeah. Like now that you've brought up, you know, we're not an entertainment band, we're more of a performance band. Is there an event that you're hired for where you're like, well, this doesn't feel like a King Bull scenario, but you guys had to roll with it anyway?
Oh,
We had
yeah.
a nightclub in Sylvan once, and they were so mad that we
They
were
hated
there.
us.
They hired us.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, this is what we want you to do, and like, this is what we do. I sent them like our EPK, like, here's the sound that you're gonna get if you hire us, and like, yeah, no, that's perfect. We get there, and they were immediately like, why are you here? Turn it down. You're too loud. People don't like this. People are walking away, and we're like, this is literally what you paid for.
Yeah. We played a small town bar in a little Alberta town called Thorsby once too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That was the same deal. They got a hold of us via email looking for live bands because they would have entertainment. It's a weird venue because like on Wednesdays they would get strippers in, on Thursdays they would do karaoke, and for whatever the reason they wanted live music. Our name at the time was Sweetgrass, which was kind of a rip on like a Black Sabbath song. I didn't come up with the name. I never liked it.
Don't look that one up either.
Yeah, don't look that up, please. But anyways, since our name was Sweetgrass, we would get confused with being a bluegrass band all the time.
Right.
So this guy that runs this bar in Thorsby, he probably thought we were a bluegrass band. He just thinks live music is live music, books us to do a 3-hour entertainment slot.
He didn't ask for any sample beforehand.
No. So we got up there with our, like, I don't know,
Tough mistake.
regular hour-long set, and we figured he was paying well. So we kind of
didn't say no. For that reason.
and we were saving up to hit the studio. So we were just like, all right, if he's going to pay us, let's just go do it. If we clear the room, we clear the room. We did clear the room.
2 guys stayed. I think one guy couldn't get out of his chair, and that's why he stayed.
Yeah.
And yeah, another guy, I think
He was just passed out.
Yeah, I don't think he could have got off his bar chair if he wanted to.
Yeah.
I think he was an all day kind of fella.
Yeah. And at the end of the night, of course, the bar owner didn't want to pay us because we cleared the room and everything. We locked the door on him and kind of said, "You're gonna pay us," and you know, we got paid and everything like that. But that for me is probably the weirdest venue we've ever been in, or the weirdest show we've ever been a part of.
Right, the most out there.
Yeah.
We like to have a segment on Authentically Albertan called Horror Stories, and I feel like you guys just told it to us, where entrepreneurs, artists will come up here and they'll tell us, yeah, this one time I had this bad experience with a client, it wasn't what I was looking for, we had this disagreement, but the whole point is to kind of say what you guys learned from it. So I guess from this experience, any valuable lessons?
Well, that was a great lesson. I mean, if you look at King Bull, our whole career is a horror story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But things like that.
What does that mean? Your whole career is a horror story.
I don't know. I can't really say too much. The Thorsby event is a great example of a horror story, and it seems like everywhere we go, there's some sort of carnage related to it, or you hit the road and you wake up in the hotel next day and you're shaking your head, going, "Holy Christ, what did we do last night?" Just stuff like that. And on top of it, I don't know. I won't go too far into that. That's too much of an open-ended question.
What's the most crowded you've ever played at?
Oh, it's easy to say Bose because it's such a big venue. But you know, I don't know. We opened for Sebastian Bach once. He's the ex-singer from Skid Row,
Right.
a few years ago, and that was pretty much a sold-out show at Bose. So I always look back at that, but I don't like to count, you know, opening for somebody else there that's packed a room.
Yeah, we've done a lot of shows opening up for like big acts.
Yeah.
The room is full.
Yeah, the Beaches, Monster Truck,
The
Daniel
Nil.
Romano, Dirty Nil.
For the beaches, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, again, a lot of fun, but it's hard to call that your accolade when you didn't really have to put in the years and years of legwork to get to where these bands are.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely super fun.
Yeah, as far as out of town stuff goes, I don't know. We've probably hit
It's like Big
Winter Classic. Yeah, we played Big Winter Classic in Calgary, and that was
the year we played on the rooftop. That rooftop was packed.
that was
I couldn't
max
tell you how many
capacity,
people
I
were
would
there,
guess.
but
Yeah.
It was
that
a big
a lot of
rooftop then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it King Eddie?
It was above. I think it's
the-
called Modern Love now. It used to be called Broken City.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're familiar with that. But the Big Winter Classic is an awesome festival. And it's kind of like a bar hopping type festival.
Right.
We were always up there playing Rockin' for Dollars, which sort of gave us a nice Calgary following. And they gave us a great slot up on the rooftop that they had set up. And
Rocking for Dollars is really good.
yeah,
Oh,
Really
it's
great,
class.
great
Can't
way
say
to know
enough.
local bands.
yeah, can't say
and,
enough good things about Rockin' for Dollars. We just went and did one probably 3 weeks, maybe a month ago.
Yeah.
And it was a blast. And I like that you only play for 15 or 20 minutes because
Is that the 1 hour?
well, you know, you should. If you can't do a good job in 15 minutes, you need to go back to the drawing board. Like, we can do 15 minutes and it feels like a whole show. And
Yeah.
I think more bands should try to get good at that.
Yeah.
Not to critique, because, you know, everybody's good, but, you know.
No, if you can't pull somebody's attention within 15 minutes, you got to rethink your strategy a little bit.
Yeah, for us, it's perfect. Put as much into as little time as possible, and it's going to be a good result.
Yeah, quick and dirty.
Yeah, playing an hour, like, that's almost out of our wheelhouse. Like, that's usually we play all of our songs in 45 minutes or less, but I guess we were having more fun
Yeah,
at the VAT on Friday.
as it goes.
Is there somewhere else that you guys would want to perform? Maybe somewhere in the province or outside of the province,
Oh,
Well,
or even outside of the country?
yeah, anywhere is a good answer, especially like, you know, sort of rebooting with Ben on the drums. Obviously, we need to hit the studio and get some fresh stuff out for our people to listen to. But with that all happening, yeah, we need to get back to Toronto, Winnipeg, Saskatoon, Regina. Like, we need to do the Canada-wide thing again. We've done it in the past with mixed results. The States would be great. There's work visas and all that stuff. So if we were going to do the States, we would either break the law and hide our gear.
So you've done shows in other provinces across Canada, that's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
What's the music scene like in other places? What's the one that fits Red Deer the most?
Probably Hamilton.
Yeah.
I would say Hamilton is a pretty easy, quick answer to that. They've got a great scene. I mean, guys like Dirty Nil come from, I don't know if you're familiar with the Dirty Nil, but
No, I'm not familiar with
they're
them.
probably...
I'm not even familiar with Hamilton. Hamilton, which province?
Hamilton is Ontario.
Ontario.
It's like
It's
an hour outside of Toronto on the
Okay.
train.
Yeah.
And
It's about the size of Red Deer, I think, maybe a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
But same sort of vibe, like kind of dingy, rock and rolly, lots of little hole in the wall pubs that you can go play, and all the kids just flock to Friday, Saturday kind of thing.
what's that place called that we played called last? The Doors?
The Doors.
Doors Pub?
Or Doors, I think, is just the title.
It's really similar to the VAT. Like, it's kind of the same atmosphere, you know, when...
I think it used to be a church or something. The basement's
Seriously?
like all like rocks, and they threw a bar in the middle. And you go upstairs, and it looks like where you'd congregate in a church, like a big wood floor platform. They boarded all the windows up.
The acoustics on that place must be great then.
Yeah, if you're loud, it sucks because it just screams at you. But,
Yeah, it's echoey, but it's
it's
still
so
good.
fun. You pack like 200 kids in this church room is what it looks like to me, and yeah, it's sweaty blast.
What do you guys draw inspiration from as modern musicians? Like when you look at other modern bands, there's always that question where, okay, what bands inspired you in the past? And of course, those are great ones. But right now, in the current state of things, I'd like to spice it up a little bit and ask, who are your current inspirations that are modern right now?
You know, I live with my head in the sand a fair bit,
Mm-hmm.
which I shouldn't, but I do. The obvious standouts for me are Daniel Romano and his group, The Outfit.
Yeah.
They're the best live group I've ever seen, and right behind that, if not equal with that, would be the Dirty Nil. We've had the pleasure to play with both acts and can't say enough good things about them. If you don't know who they are, you need to know who they are.
Yeah.
You know, if times were different, they would be the biggest bands in the world, and there's no question about it. Ben, he's probably got better answers than me, and so does Aiden, because they're a little bit less head in the sand than I am.
I know we all listen for different things in music too. I'm a horrible lyric listener. Some of my favorite songs, I know maybe 4 or 5 words to overall. I can hum the whole thing. I can drum the whole thing and on the air drums, but I couldn't tell you the words. So I'm always listening to wherever gets me up and moving and tapping my feet and shaking the head. That's the kind of music I like to play and listen to. So
Any specific band?
always Green Day. Always Green Day is a consistent one in the rotation for me drum wise. All American Rejects, Paramore. Just
Green Day came out with a new song recently.
last
year.
Okay,
Last
yes,
year.
yeah. They still, man, they've been at it for years. Those guys never aged, never quit. They're a good example of longevity and consistency as far as style goes. But I love all that pop punk music. I had the chance to see a band called Neck Deep from I think Wales actually, but somewhere in the UK anyways, and they were amazing. It was at Union Hall in Edmonton, and the energy they brought, the tunes they played are super inspiring for me anyways as a drummer and as someone in a band. They're a great band to try to emulate and try to rip off the style and the feel as much as you can. That's kind of the goal, I guess, always rip it off and make it your own.
Yeah, we're
as
huge
much
rip-off
as-
artists.
Inspiration. That's what you gotta
Exactly,
call it.
inspiration.
Yeah.
Yeah, with a twist.
What would you, Aiden?
I mean, I listen to so much different kinds of music and different sounds at any given time.
Mm-hmm.
I can start my day at 8 in the morning, listen to some old outlaw country, and end the day with like some crazy thrash metal stuff. Like, if it piques my interest, I'll do like the little rabbit hole if I need to know everything about the specific artist or band.
The
For a
Wikipedia
week.
page
Yeah,
and
I'll do
everything.
the whole thing,
Mm-hmm.
and then the next morning I'll wake up and I'm like, oh, it's somebody else now. I need to like
Okay.
the next thing. I'm always searching for anything that piques my interest, really. So
If you guys weren't musicians right now, what would you be doing?
Plumber,
Yeah?
hands down.
That was a good one.
It's
Useful.
a good trade, yeah? People
Yeah,
always need it.
We're all aging at a rapid pace, so we do have big boy jobs outside of the band.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately,
What do you do?
I should lie.
What?
I'm not gonna speak on what any of us do outside of rock and roll, and just because I feel like that's selling out to
we
to
wait
the
to rock.
idea.
We wait to rock is what we do.
Yeah.
bide our time.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. You know, if we do have real jobs, we're just waiting to rock later.
If.
Yeah.
If we do, yeah.
It's like that show Severance. Have you guys seen it?
No.
Where basically they have this procedure for a company's employees
Yeah.
and they split you in two. So as soon as you enter the building, you become like the person who's there to work. As soon as you exit, you do whatever you want with your life.
Yeah.
But you don't remember anything of what happens while you're at work.
Oh,
And
that
the
sounds-
work
That-
person...
that is how
That's
I
pretty-
find
Yeah. And the work person doesn't know anything outside of the workplace.
Yeah.
There you go.
So they're kind of like eternally working,
Yeah.
but the outside person isn't.
That sounds ideal. You could just
Yeah.
show up, turn
I
your
kinda
brain
like
off,
that.
and blink, and you're back to
Yeah.
rocking and rolling. That,
Yeah.
I should watch that because
Ideally.
that is not far from how I
Yeah.
conduct life.
Yeah.
There's very much real life me and the other real life me.
Well, the whole struggle of the show is that the people who are inside the workplace, who only know the workplace, want to get out and are asking themselves, well, why is this our entire world? So
Right.
then you'd have that rift, that other
Yeah.
you who lives
I
inside the
guess, yeah.
workplace. You
Yeah.
want to take over.
Yeah, well, I'm sure this version of us three desperately wants to take over. And might. You never know what the future has in
That's
store.
right.
This next record we're working on is a good one. So we'll see.
So you'd want to be a plumber?
Oh, I'd be maybe like a professional like canoe guide.
Yeah?
Like you taking people on canoe trips. Like you start in one place and you maybe have like a little acoustic guitar in the back and just serenade. Kinda
Like a
in-
tour guide?
Yeah, like
Way
like
than
the
canoes,
gondolas
yeah,
in
yeah.
Venice type of thing, but like the
Nice.
Reggie River.
Yeah.
Like, hey, look, that's a traffic cone. This is my favorite deer carcass on the left. Just stuff like that. Keeping it authentically Albertan, as we say.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And
I'm
I
curious.
think it'd
what
be
you're
fun
gonna say.
to be like a car salesman.
Yeah?
I don't think I'd be good at it at all, but I think it'd be fun to try out.
Yeah, you'd be a good salesman.
Yeah.
Hey, do you want this thing?
Yeah.
I do. Okay.
Our
here you go.
next record.
Throw me a number. You
Yeah.
can have it. I worked at a smoothie franchise when I was a kid, and they fired me after 3 days because my first day they said like, this is like the one smoothie that's easiest to make. I'll show you that one. And then I got busy and everyone left, so I was just throwing out like the same smoothie.
You kept making the same smoothie
they're
over
like,
and
"Oh,
over.
show up. I want a blah blah blah. I'm like, no problem. I know how to make this one.
And you kept that up for 3 days.
Yeah.
You kept that up for 3
And
days.
nobody, like-
and they didn't complain or anything.
Nobody would like. They'd take it off
What?
of their smoothie and be like, "This isn't what I ordered," and I just go back to the back and pretend I'm doing something. And yeah, nobody complained enough that I got in trouble for it until the third day. Somebody came in.
It's
and
always a
just
third
lost
day
it.
where something
Yeah.
The
happens.
thing about smoothies though, they all taste the same anyways. Who cares?
Same consistency, same texture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as not rotten, you shouldn't be mad about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got away with that for 3 days.
And
Just
what was
like-
the breaking point? Well, who was the customer who finally caught
I
you?
just finally got a Karen, and she was
Aw.
like, "This isn't what I want." Blah blah blah. I was like 14 or 15 at the time. I don't know what else to make you, lady. And yeah, the manager ended up calling and saying, "Pack it up,"
Go home, kid.
which was probably for the best. I hated that place.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's time to wrap it up.
yeah. Wasn't
Find
fun.
passion somewhere else.
I think that's a good.
Exactly.
You're not
salesman,
caught
you
for
push-
smoothie
you
making, yeah?
push it.
So what's this new record you guys are working on?
I don't think we've officially named it yet. Like, there's a couple projects in the midst. Like, the first thing that we're gonna do is put out a compilation
Mhm.
of some of our older stuff. I might have mentioned it earlier, but that's to reintroduce everybody to the band. And that's more or less just to get things buzzing, just to put something in our hands. On top of that, we don't want to just rehash the same old garbage. So we are going to have some live in studio covers part of that release. It'll probably be a volume 1, volume 2 EP type thing.
Mhm.
And then while that's getting released, we'll be perfecting our first full-length album. We're recording that here in Red Deer with Communal Creative Studios. We've done our last EP was done with them. It was recorded in our house, so not quite as official as being in their studio. So we look forward to that. But I think it's going to be our best record by a long shot. Like, the songs on it are, you know, if we've ripped ourselves off, I don't know, 3
These
or
are the
4
best
times in a-
rip-offs?
Yeah, these are the best rip-offs of ourselves. We
okay.
kind of perfected the formula, I would say.
The best smoothie.
Yeah,
The
it's
best smoothie.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm excited about it. Like I say, we haven't named it yet, but if it's a greatest hits record in the sense that they will be our greatest songs, they just aren't hits yet. That's all.
Yeah.
Ah, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's just being prepared for when they become hits.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, 30 minutes of just straight bangers.
Yeah.
The Corolla of albums.
Yeah.
Yeah, reliable.
Yeah.
Reliable.
Has it been challenging finding that audience online? And to add on to that, since you're working with a label, do they let you look at the analytics? Does he say, okay, well, this song performed well, this song didn't, look for something there that...
They would let us. I don't know
A
if we're
switch.
smart enough to be that involved. But they would definitely let us. I find that, like, the modern day internet way of pushing is a real pain. Like, you can do it and all that. I'm glad that we've got some label support because, you know, we've got a song out called B-Side Baby. It's achieved 20,000 listens or something like that. And I don't know that us pushing it independently would get us there. Maybe if we had a nerd in the band or something like that, somebody really good with the Instagram pushing and stuff like that. I'm not
A
that
marketeer, yeah.
That is
Exactly.
one of the problems with our band is none of us are really like internet computer savvy.
Yeah, on a local scale, I always try to get better at it and make sure that people are still engaging with the content we put on the internet. But it's not really the way to get to know a band. Like, if you're interested in us because you've seen a post or whatever, or you've seen one of our stories, you're better off just coming to see us because it's a more, like, I don't know.
Lived-in experience.
Yeah, you saw us on Friday. And
Yeah.
I'm sure to an extent, seeing us live, I'm sure you felt like to a small extent you kind of met the band just by watching the band.
Even though I only learned of your names today.
That's right.
Yeah.
I knew you guys before I knew your
Yeah.
names.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get a pretty good idea of what we're all about by watching us live. So for us, like, yeah, the internet is a challenge, and that way of doing it is a challenge. But I would like to see it go back to the days of going out and playing a show. And if you like the band, that's why you're buying their records. Our best, like the thing that we're best at doing is having a full room.
Yeah.
And then going into it and blowing the roof off the place. Like, I don't think we've ever played in front of a full room and disappointed, unless they were in Thorsby, and they were all 65 plus.
Rumor has it that guy's still in that chair to this day.
He's still stuck.
Side baby in his head.
Yeah,
I'd put money on it.
yeah, guaranteed.
Let's go to Thorsby next weekend.
Check it out.
And check it out.
We
Book
should.
book another show there.
Yeah.
Just to
Super
see.
tour.
Yeah.
Word of mouth is still as important as ever, though. Like just being based in Red Deer, right? It's Red Deer's not a small town, but it's not a small town, right? Like there's still somebody said about. I mean, yeah, just meeting you, right? Or, last night at a show, there's still those moments that happen, right? Where you meet. I mean, that's how we met, was right, just through shows and through word of mouth. And you get a number here and there, you get an introduction here and there. There's still something to be said about that. The importance of social media is great for trying to catch a broader audience and trying to trick people into coming to pay money to see us on a Friday night or whatever it may be.
Trick people. I think they get their money's worth.
Once we trick them, then they usually, we hope they stick around.
Yeah.
But that word of mouth piece and that they're shaking hands, there's nothing that hopefully will ever replace that.
Yeah,
Who you know matters a lot in this business, in the entertainment business, a lot of things. In every business, who you know gets you places. So word of mouth is very important. I wanted to ask you, have you dwelled on music videos before?
Yeah, we've done a couple of music videos. Both with a good friend of ours, Cassie. She's kind of been a friend of the band for years and years and years, and she does lots of film stuff. Like film is her whole deal.
Yeah.
So the first one we did pretty much just around, like, we all lived together in the same house at a time period, so we just kind of did it around the house, and it's a song called The Depender. Very much DIY.
This was COVID era too, as a preference to that.
Okay.
We couldn't really go anywhere to do any major fun shooting things because everything was closed. So
Yeah, I mean, I think we went through the A&W drive-through in the video.
That's a landmark.
Yeah.
Every small town's got one.
Right. It keeps us alive on tour. That's why we went through the drive-through. You know, as we kind of tried to make it feel like you were on the road with King Bull for that little segment of that video. Of course, the video ends with us in a boxing match, which is also appropriate.
Like the three of you in a boxing match?
Yeah, Aiden was the ref, and the last drummer was the guy that I was trying to punch out.
Yeah,
and that was
that's how you got the black eye. Legend has it.
Legend has it. Yeah.
It's never gone away.
Yeah, 6 years later. But yeah, the other video we did was for the song B-side, and that one I like a lot because it's just tasteful and it looks good. It was filmed again by Cassie with a Super 8 like old film camera.
Okay, so you guys got to use actual film.
Yeah.
Nice. That's always
cool.
fun to play with. And you guys get to chime in your ideas to the video director?
We try not to.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd rather, like, I let people do what they're good at when it comes to things. Like, I'm okay at writing songs, and we're okay at playing music. But we're probably not very good at when it comes to creating a music video. So I would rather have somebody that knows film to do that for us.
Yeah, let artists make their art.
So aside from the band, what other future plans you have for yourselves aside from the music?
None.
None?
We're not allowed to talk about those two.
The plumbing industry's doing well though, I hear.
Yeah.
That's going to keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah, no shortage there.
Yeah, cars still need to get sold somehow. So.
Yeah, and then people need canoes.
People need canoe tours. Really.
People need
badly.
canoe tours with a
them.
guitar.
Yeah. They need to be serenaded. So.
Yeah, if you're ever in Red Deer, look Ben up. He's got canoes for y'all.
Yeah,
So.
benscanoes.com.
We actually shot an
website.
episode about a boat tour down in Calgary.
Oh, did
Where we went down the Bow River. We started in downtown and ended in the southeast, the suburbs. Went down the Bow River. I think it was, what's the place called again? Memorial? No, not Memorial Park. It was some park in the northwest.
Sure.
So we traveled across Calgary,
Yeah.
and we brought the camera onto the boat. And along
Cool.
the way, we stopped at bridges where you could jump off into the boat, and we flipped the boat at one point because it was one of those inflatable rafts.
Yeah.
Made it out like a platform,
Yeah.
and then grabbed like other things, and we just pushed each other off the boat. It was a ton of fun.
That would be
Yeah.
fun.
That
Yeah.
sounds wicked.
It was
if you wanna
our
do
summer
that, right, dude?
solstice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do
I'm
that.
100% stealing that idea. Jumping off the Gates Bridge into the D's.
There you go, guys.
2 broken legs, but worth it for the story.
You just get it on video.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's how you publish it out there.
Yeah.
And you can even put that on the music video.
Exactly.
If it-
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's somehow included in there.
Somehow find a way to to incorporate.
Tell the
it.
director, look, we don't really get involved in the making of music videos, but you gotta have this one
Yeah,
scene.
this is the
Yeah.
one thing we need.
The
to
one
have.
thing that needs to be in there. Well, our tour guide actually did it. He jumped from the river and did the flip. I got it on video.
That's
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
I can do it too. Don't ask me to do it. There's no video proof, but I can do it too.
Hey, if you ever want to try it, I want it on video, just so
Yeah,
if it goes
yeah.
wrong, get the clicks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Do it for the fans.
Exactly. Well, guys, we have a few more questions that usually wrap up the interview. One of them is, what does success mean to you?
You're looking at it. I look at King Bull's career and I say it is successful because we didn't fold up and die, and we had many opportunities to do so. I'm proud of the music that we put out there, and to me, that's successful. Like in current times, yeah, we're not all Led Zeppelin anymore. You can't get up there in front of 20,000 people overnight. That just doesn't happen for rock and roll, and when it does, it seems synthesized. So the fact that I go to bed at night and I actually like the songs I wrote is success.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, being able to do what we want, how we want to do it, I think would be it for me.
Qualify it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're tough.
We are tough.
What about you, Ben?
Music's fun, man. Music's so fun. I wouldn't have thought when I was starting off piano lessons as a 6-year-old that I'd be rocking it out with King Bull at the VAT, and people are actually showing up and sticking around for the entirety of shows.
And living up that energy.
Oh, it's a blast. Like it's the best way to spend energy, creative energy, physical energy. There's nothing quite like the feeling of performing. And wherever there's a show, it's a success. Success for me is getting shows. People actually want to listen to us. That's always the coolest thing to me. Yeah.
All right. And we have one last question, one final question to wrap up the show. And that is, if you had one word to describe yourself, which one would it be?
Good.
Ooh.
Tough.
Dope.
Awesome, guys. Awesome to hear, you got that energy going and you got plans. And I can't wait to hear the record out when it comes out on streaming services, maybe even the physical version. I mean, I was doing a short film project a while back and it required me to buy a turntable.
Yeah.
So now
Nice.
I'm collecting, I'm into the collecting vinyl.
Yeah,
scene
yeah.
now.
People gotta get
Yeah.
back
I'm ready for
into.
you.
Yeah.
Or the cassette. Maybe you guys can get me to the cassette
Oh, we got
collecting
some
club.
cassettes.
Yeah.
We've got cassettes. Yeah, we.
Oh,
put
really?
Our,
Wow.
Yeah, we put our last EP out on cassette. And it's a great idea. I wish more people had cassette players because I think that's probably the biggest hang up is like record players made a trendy comeback and you can find a turntable at any London Drugs or Walmart, no problem. But it's a little bit harder to track down a good functioning cassette player.
Little Walkman, like
Yeah.
Guardians
You
of the
gotta
Galaxy.
find that. Like you're going
Yeah.
through like the thrift stores and you're looking for, a Walkman that works, or you buy an old car from the 80s that just so happens to have a still functioning cassette player.
Right?
That's what I try to do, but now I've got like 6 cars and none of the cassette players work. So
Ian's a good car salesman.
Yeah.
yeah,
All
And-
Honda Civics.
yeah.
Sell you
Honda Civic.
Oh,
Yeah, but you guys should have brought the cassettes. Would have loved to see them.
yeah. Well, I'm sure we'll meet again. I'll have one in my pocket next time.
Sounds good. All right. And then, what happened to your black eye? Never got to ask you that question.
Now, that's a story for another day, but I'll tell you today anyways.
Okay, sounds good.
A bit of an Amber Heard, Johnny Depp situation.
Oh.
No. After the show on Friday last night, we all went to Ben's house and did a little bit of semi-professional wrestling.
Got a little carried
Closer to
away.
pro.
Yeah, closer to pro. I mean, there was some.
You're being kind. There's some
Yeah.
pretty impressive moves. out there.
Yeah. I was in a match against my significant other Kylie, and I went to do a bit of a choke slam, and
She won.
She won.
She
She
won.
saw an opportunity. She's got a mean right hook. You'll see her in the crowds.
Damn.
Look out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stay away from the
Noshing
right
specialist.
hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hey, it's a story for another interview.
Yeah,
For
that's
this
it.
interview too, you know, if you guys go on another show, then you guys can tell it too. Like one time, the way we like to celebrate King Bull concerts is we like to have our own little WrestleMania. We hire Vic McMahon sometimes.
yeah.
He comes on, he introduces everybody, and that's how we celebrate King Bull concerts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great way to end a nice night. eh?
Yeah.
I thought all that stuff was supposed to be fake, but this is why they say don't try it at home.
All scripted. That's what they say, that it's all scripted.
Right, not fake. It's scripted.
Yeah, it's scripted.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
our
yeah.
set list.
It's not fake. It's scripted. Yeah.
All right, guys, thanks again for bringing that energy, bringing that authenticity, just a good vibe. I felt the vibe that I felt on Friday right here in this interview. Thank you guys for coming.
Thanks for
Awesome.
having us.
Thanks for
Appreciate
having
it.
us.
And
Thanks.
thank you guys for seeing this new episode of Authentically Albertan. We'll catch you on the next one. Stay authentic.